What's up, guys? It's Army 2 Willis, and I just wanted to do a video to talk about a few things. We'll talk about the horse in the room, EA, and discuss something that's been bothering me this whole time. There's a big thing right now in the industry where people have a problem blaming EA for things that EA didn't even do. I was just watching a video
So recently I was flown.
just a minute ago. You heard the video playing. It's called Anthem, and EA made a good demo decision by Upper Echelon Gamer. This guy has 86,000 views on this video and probably a crap ton of viewers. We'll click on it and see how many viewers he has. So Upper Echelon Gamer, we're going to put him here, as you see. Upper Echelon Gamer has 147,000 people. That's a lot of people that watch him. And with those 140,000 people is a spiderweb effect and a pyramid effect where that one person that's subscribed to him have people that they talk to. So it spreads like wildfire. He specifically said in this video
It's going to be
that EA were the ones that he said, I understand why people feel burned. EA were the people who burned a lot of people with Battlefront and then gave out a game and then added microtransactions later. Wrong. That would be Black Ops 4, which is by Activision, not EA. He didn't say that. He didn't correct himself, and that leads to people believing something that's not true about a game. That's a problem. People in the industry need to stop showing a bias or a partial bias towards a publisher or even the developers under a publisher just because something in particular happened. Whoever made Battlefront, they made the decision to agree with the publisher and to put those microtransactions in the game. There was a combined effort. These developers could say no. Does that mean they could lose their studio? Sure, but I'm pretty sure a team like DICE, who makes EA the most money, I'm pretty sure they have a lot of sway in what EA would say. You can argue the differ, but believe me, I'm pretty sure. BioWare, another big team that makes EA a lot of money, they chose not to. Just like DICE chose not to put any microtransactions in their game. Sure, if nobody would have said anything, they probably would have kept those transactions because they said everybody else is doing it. Why can't we? But you know, when DICE got the backlash with Battlefront 2 and BioWare saw that, they didn't put those boxes in the game. Nor did DICE when they dropped Battlefield 5. You look at Call of Duty, who came out a month before them, they still had microtransactions in the game. They just waited a month so that all the reviews would get out there. Destiny still had Ingrams in this game and had a whole bunch of other stuff going on, but everybody remained silent about what's going on with Destiny, what's going on with Activision. Nobody said anything. Nobody said anything to 343, who had loot boxes in their game when they launched Halo 5. Not a word was said. Nobody said anything. That you see this cycle, people have a inanimate bias towards EA, but they say nothing when the other companies are doing the same thing. That's like singling me out and telling me I'm doing something wrong when I'm part of a group of people who do wrong. That's wrong, and you shouldn't do that. And you shouldn't be convincing gamers that one company is doing something and to hate one company when that company is composed of many different developing studios, for one. And two, there are other publishers and developing studios doing the exact same thing. Am I saying people were wrong for how they treated Battlefront 2? No, I think it was just. You don't like it, don't buy it. You don't like it, speak up. I think our voice as a community is very strong, but I think at the same time, not wielding that with responsibility can cause destruction of future games. I'm someone who's currently, just to give you an idea of who I am, looking to venture off into this game design career and become a developer myself. So I look at this from two different sides of the table. One as a diehard gamer since birth, you know, zeros and ones is in my blood and I love everything about gaming. But at the same time, you got to look at it from the other spectrum and look at it from, okay, these people are making money, So they saw a way, hey, we can make more money to add more stuff. But you see, a lot of these companies weren't adding more stuff. They weren't adding something interesting. They weren't adding something fun. Destiny's content was boring. It took 2 weeks after the game came out before we even got a raid for Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is also a game where everybody said, oh yeah, the story was long, but then when you go back and play that story with another character and you give that character a speeder, you realize the story is nowhere near as long as it is. You skip all the cutscenes, you ride your speeder through, bypassing all those enemies that you didn't even need to fight, because you only need to complete the mission to get the experience to reach 30. So once you did all that stuff, you realize there's only 2.5 hours of gameplay in the story. If you and a buddy go in and you ride speeders the whole time, you realize all of that was pointless. All that 8.5 hours or 8 hours that you spent on the story before was mostly cutscenes and needless fighting. Stuff that you could have just bypassed from the beginning. And to me, that's kind of crazy because it builds a false narrative behind what exactly you were sold there. But enough of that. Let's get on to the topic at hand, which is explaining what Premiere is to people and getting you guys aware of something that's actually a really good deal. So, Premiere. Premiere is not like basic EA Access or Origin Access. Premiere itself allows you to get more. You're going to pay more, but you're also going to get more. And I'm explaining why this is a better deal than what you got with the basic access. So, with basic access, you have to wait until a game hits the vault. And depending on how popular the game is, it can be anywhere between 6 months and 18 months before that game hits the vault. That's a long time. And if you're somebody that's looking to save a buck, that might not be the way to go with basic. That's where Premiere has a leg up over basic. The minute a game launches, you have access to it with Premiere. It's automatically in your vault as a Premiere member because you get Premiere access, hence the name. That's an advantage that it has over basic. You automatically have access. Another advantage it has over basic is the trial service. Basic has a 10-hour trial, so 5 to 10 days before the game comes out. They say 5 days, but it's really like 10 days because usually, since I've been with EA Access before Premiere came out at the end of last year and I picked that up, I've had it for like, 2-3 years now, whenever it started. And the games would always get trials somewhere like 10 days, somewhere between 5 and 10 days before the game officially launched, and you'll get your trial hours. The thing that sucked is it was only 10 hours of trial. And if you're a kind of person that's competitive, like with for an example, Battlefield 1 came out. Everybody's trying to get in there, get those levels out, and try to progress as far as they can before the majority of people get there. Is it an advantage? Yes. Is it a big advantage? I mean, you still got to eat, sleep, and work or go to school or whatever, unless you like one of those people that truly have no life. So, not really. And maybe those people that are trying to get that extra edge with that extra time are just trying to stay with the curve instead of behind the curve, because those people could work more than the average person. You never know. So, let's throw that aside. 10 hours. With Premiere, the same time those people would get 10 hours, you have unlocked the game completely. Like, you're completely in access. So let's say it's the 5 days, like what's written on here. That means Anthem comes out on the 22nd of February. 5 days before that would be the 17th. That means on the 17th, you've already unlocked the game. You can already play the game. Right then, right there. That's huge compared to just having 10 hours to play for 5 days. That's 2 hours a day that you can play if you want to stretch out your ability to play the game as long as possible. If you sit down and put 8 hours in, then you're going to be really pinching those last 2 hours, and then you're just sitting on hold waiting for the game to launch to pick back up. It can suck. It can really suck because if you're like, hey, I'm doing these 2 hours and I want to do it with my friends, but you and your friends' schedules don't match exactly, it can make it suck. I've experienced that with a lot of the games. Now, if it's a solo experience and you're just playing it by yourself, you could do as you please with the 10 hours. But when it comes to using it in conjunction with playing with your friends, and I'm one of those people that like to play a lot of my games that I have with friends. I have more multiplayer games than single player games. I do play single player games, but I enjoy playing games with friends a lot more than when I was younger, where I preferred to play a lot of games by myself, and then I would have the occasional game or two that were online. Um, let's talk about another big thing. The 10% discount is exactly the same. Nothing changed there, but we're going to talk about the DLCs. With Basic, you get a discount on DLCs, but nothing's guaranteed to come with it. With Premier, you get all of the DLC, all of it. So if there's for an example, the Legendary Edition that's coming out for Anthem, you get the Legendary Edition. The special edition of Battlefield that came out that costs $10 more, you automatically get that. No extra cost. It's all laid in with that $100 a year you pay. So I'm gonna give you guys an idea of just how much money you can save. So say you liked Battlefront 2 after all of the crap happened and it became a decent game. That's a $60 game. And then you say, hey, I also play Battlefield. So I'm a hardcore Battlefield person, which I am. That's another $60 game. 70 if you include that deluxe edition. So we're looking at 70 plus 60, that's 130. Then you add in Anthem's coming out. That's another game that I'm really going to want to play. So you slap that, add that in. You say you want that Legion edition, $80. Now you're at $210. And you say, you know what? I want to play Darksiders 3 as well because I played the old Darksiders and it's kind of nostalgic. Another $60 game. Add that in. So now we're at $270. This all in just 6 months these games came out. $270 if you want completely everything with it. Well, if you have Premiere, you could bypass all of that. $100 a year or $15 a month. If I were you, I would pay the 100 a year because 15 a month is going to come out to be a lot more expensive than the 100 a year. Pay the $100 a year. Now you just saved out of that 270, you saved $170. If you paid the 15 a month, you're saving about $80 a year, give or take the math. That's still a lot of money if you just pay that 1 year straight up and just remember that date so you know, hey, when it comes that time, it's gonna come out again next year. I think that's a smart thing to do, if you ask me, because I think it's what's best for what you spending, the bang for your buck, if you get what I mean. The other side to this, the reason why I think it's so valuable is because if you're a person like Mook who's like, EA's done some dirt in the past, I don't know. If you don't like Battlefield, if you don't like Darksiders, if you don't like Anthem, and if you don't like the Star Wars game, there's still a Star Wars game by Respawn Entertainment coming out this year. And at the end of this year, we're also expecting Titanfall. So that's two more games that I would enjoy playing that are coming out. I'm saving money on all of these games. Any I don't like, I don't have to feel burned by it because I didn't spend actual money on that game and I'm not stuck with the game that I don't like playing. The benefit is you also get to try other games that you might have bypassed because you say, hey, my budget's limited and I only got so much money. And that's where it can really save you. And they're talking about it out here, like how much could Premiere really save you in money and whatnot, but we're not even going to talk about that. We're talking about the fact that you could be saving a lot of money. I mean, in a year time from November to November, that's when I got mine, November last year till November next year, that's $100. But everything that comes out in that time period, which we're looking at, what, six games? Six games at $60, that's $360. You add in all the extra stuff that comes in for the games, we're probably going to be looking at close to $400. I only spent 100. So that's $300 saved to go towards whatever. So for those of you who might say, man, I want to buy a graphics card, but all these games come out, there's that graphics card right there. Right there. Set in stone. $300. Or maybe the games that are not EA that you were on a toss-up about, you can now get those games with that $300 you just saved in that year time span. The year comes up, you can keep it or you can get rid of it. You can look back and say, hey, over this year, those 6 games, there was only one game that I really liked. So right before your year comes up, you buy that one game with the discount at whatever price it's going for at that time, in the subscription, no hard feelings, you come out with a win. Instead of paying $60, if Titanfall is the only game you ended up liking, you got Titanfall for 10% off. That's $6 less. And you walk away no longer paying for the access. You got to play whatever games you want to play up into that time period, and you really get to enjoy yourself. Um, I personally think it's probably one of the best deals out there. Prior to this coming out, the deal that I was using was the Best Buy Gamers Club, which sadly got ended because it really saved me a lot of money compared to paying these prices up front. Um, we're looking at it. So Origin Access, as you see here, you could pay $100 a year, or it's $15 a month. Like if I change the billing, you see $100 a year or $15 a month, whatever you decide to do. So actually mine's October 17th, so it's like a month before it come out. Whatever games I want to play, they're playable. Whatever games I want to play. We can go to the vault. If it's a game and it's out, it's all here. As you can see here, every last game you could think of, all the DLCs, Burning Tide, whatever you want to play, Darksiders 3, they're all there. Every game that they have. Which is actually pretty nice because then you don't have to spend any extra money. As you see, I go to Battlefield. I never bought this game. We go to extra content just to show you. Boom, boom. It's all there. And the minute you go to add a new game, it'll say, hey, do you want to unlock all of the content with Premiere? And you just click on it and say, yeah, that's exactly what I want. I want to unlock all the content with Premiere. And you see your little Premiere tag up there, and you can go to all the content. So I could literally say, hey, I want to buy all this, or I could just unlock it. See, unlocked. That's what you see, unlocked. That means I don't have to pay anything, and it's automatically there. That's a lot of money I'm saving. I'm not going to purchase it. I could be spending a lot of money on each one of these, but I'm not. It's automatically unlocked. And for somebody that might have multiple systems, which I was one of those people that was playing on 2 systems before, that means I'm saving a lot of money by not buying this for multiple systems. I could just play whatever it is I want to play. It don't matter if it's Crysis, Burnout Paradise, whatever it is that fits your fancy. You have it. It's there. Premiere. The Sims 4 is not on Premiere. Odyssey is not on Premiere. And that's mostly probably because they're not EA-owned games, so they're not on Premiere. But I believe they still have sales. Let me see. So yes, still get the 10% discount by buying it through their store. So it's $54 over spending $60. So if that's something that you want to have, you can have it through their store. I don't know if you're still going to end up having to download the Ubisoft launcher or not, because I have the games on the Xbox and I'm not going to buy them again. I'm really kind of upset with how both Origins and the latest version turned out, Odyssey. But as you see, all their games, they're there. So whatever you want to get, you have access to it. And that's something that I really like about that new Premiere service. So if that's something you want to check out, I highly recommend you guys check that out. See if you like it. Give it a year. You're either going to hate it or love it. At the end of it, no hard feelings. You get what you want out of it. And it's something that I really like. I thank you guys for taking the time to key in and listen to me, and I apologize for all the yawning. And as always, Army 2 Willis, out.